All righty then. So you have opened up your lab template. Should have your name up here. So one of the things I'll point out a couple common omissions I've seen with the submissions. First off, you should change the name to your name, and you can have lab video template up here. That's not a bad title for it. Also, we had a template that's blank for the parallax and for the ride along. And now we had lab 2.3 fan cart acceleration. So we copied our template. We renamed it. The word for copy here is duplicate. Renamed it. And here it is. So you should have renamed it down below, because when you print it with the headers, it will have the sheet name on it, and we'll know which lab we're talking about. Okay, so we're actually going to take this. Now, I'm very picky. Said, make sure you have the headers. Make sure you format everything nicely. Make sure, et cetera, et cetera. So go back to the previous videos if you need to get it straightened out. Get the equations in there. Everything should be set up nicely. Reason is we're now going to use this exact template for the next lab, and it is fantastic. We're going to make one adjustment to this. The adjustment's going to be as follows. Up here, this green, this was the frame rate. So I think actually you could use more than just the frame rate. We're going to make a little adjustment here. So we're going to have the sample rate as well. And we're going to put that here. So this frame rate is for this box B. We'll put the sample rate over here. So I'm going to take away the word frame rate. And we're just going to put the sampling rate in over here. So you just kind of have to remember this green is for the frame rate. And this blue, let's change it. Let's make it a slightly different color. Let's go over here. We'll make this the sample rate. So what this means, if you notice from before, we started on frame, didn't matter what frame it was. I wrote here 503. We sampled this every 5 frames. So if you recall, we did a +5, and then we copied that all the way down. So all of these were +5. But there's a better way to do this. If we just put a sample rate of 5 up here, what that's telling us is we want to, I'll make that black, we want to check every 5 frames. So check this out. This is what's cool, and you'll see why this is a nice thing to do. So there are 2 adjustments you may not have made to this Lab 2.3 fan cart ride along. Make them right now. Adjustment number 1 is this sample rate. So this box A1, get rid of the frame rate word. Come over here. You're going to put how often you sample the frames. So in the first one, we did every 5 frames. You put a 5 here. Come down. We're starting with frame 503, whatever our starting frame is. The next one now, instead of saying +5, we're going to say plus A1, this cell. Of course, that's the same thing as +5. Now, if you go to copy that, you're going to have a problem. Oh my gosh, everything went terrible, but don't get nervous. Our problem was we want to always add this +5, so we got to lock in. We got to lock in that A1 with the $sign, and now watch how nicely this fixes everything. Drag it all the way down so we have all of our data. Everything's back to normal. Fantastic. Now the reason this is a good move is we're going to use it on the next one. There's another good move, and that I told you in the previous video, but do it if you haven't. Some of you just did, in the time column, some of you just did divide 60 over here. And you get the same answer. I don't want you to divide 60. I want you to do the more advanced skill of dividing by the frame rate up here and locking it in. That frame rate 60, don't hardwire it in. Allow it to be adjusted by putting in B1. But again, we want to lock it to B1. So $B, $1, no adjustments, boom. And then copy that all the way down. There we go, good. And now we're good to go. All right. To zoom out and show you what's going on here. So everything's the same as it was. We had our graph set up. We had the equations of the graphs. I put the jerk graph in there, which you didn't have to. But all this stuff is nice here. Now, here's the beauty of it. You've just adjusted. Here's what you have done. If at this point you haven't done this, go and do it. Go back in the video. change this to the number 5, adjust the frame information here with the plus $A, $1. And if you hadn't already, adjust all the times to divide by, instead of 60, $B, $1, and make sure your 60's up here. Now, here's the beauty of it. Check this out. Lab 2-3, fan card acceleration. Little arrow, duplicate. Okay, of course it's the same. Now, this is now going to be L3.2, phone drop. You can put acceleration if you want also. L3.2, phone drop acceleration. Good. Change the title up here. You can highlight what you want to change. L3.2, phone drop. It is a ride-along. The phone goes with the motion, so we call that a ride-along. Leave that there. Now, this is just magic. We started our frame at 0. So I'm going to type our very first frame here. It says 503. I'm going to write 0 because that's our first frame. I'm going to hit enter. Now, all of these adjusted to 5, 10, 15, 20, so on, because we've programmed it to go up every 5 frames. Go up by chunks of 5. That's our interval. However, on this video in class, the phone drop, we didn't go every 5 frames. We went every 3. And this is why I made you adjust this number up here and this programming, because now we just change a 5, go to box to cell A1, make it a 3. Enter. Done. Oh, my good. Look at that. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, etc. Fantastic. Now, most people did not actually get any more than 48 frames. That's the highest I heard, because the video gets really blurry. All these extra frames down here, don't grab the little blue thing. Just grab, and you can even hit shift, move your arrow over, clear all this data. One of the nice things that Sheets does that Excel actually doesn't do is once it's all highlighted, just hit your delete button, and it all goes away. Nice. So some of you didn't get up to 40. I know some of you were down to like 33, 36 frames, so you'll end up deleting all this stuff. Now, times. We didn't do 60 frame per second video. We did 240 frames per second. So that's why I made you program all these, because boom, change 60 to 240. Done. Oh, it doesn't get better than that. Look at that. The very last thing you have to do is update your distances. These are the result. These are the dependent variable. These you must actually read off of the camera footage. So there is no simple program to put these in. You actually have to straight up highlight all of them, delete them. Yeah, we get a bunch of these NAs and everything's going terrible. So what? It's fine. Write in the new ones. So from your new data, and you don't even have to delete. Let me undo. You can literally just type over it as you go with the new ones. But from the new data, this is your data. Now, I actually hid one of the groups in one of the classes. I took their data. Here was their distance data. So let me copy that, bring that over here, I'm going to paste it. This is one of the group's distance data. You're going to have different numbers, but they shouldn't be terribly different than these. They found at frame like 12, they're about 2.2 centimeters. Frame 30, they're about 10 centimeters. Frame 48, they're about 23 centimeters. You may be a little different, but you shouldn't be terribly different. Now, do I have to adjust the slope column? No, it's already done. Slope is slope. Slope is slope is slope. Already done. Do I need to adjust my graphs? No, they're already done. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Look at all that. The axes are done. The scales are done. Everything is correct. It's all done. The equations are done. All you have to do is print this thing. So, as we did before, when you print, you want to set up some custom breaks. Now, here's a nice thing. If you set up your breaks to print nicely last time, they're already there. So is the header, the footer, etc. So your headers and footers, just click them all. You want the page number, you want the workbook title, that's this, that's where your name should be built in. You want the sheet name, that's why we named the tab down there, Lab 3.2 phone drop acceleration. You should put the date and the time, those show up on the bottom over here. All the information you need is right there. Okay, now I already set this up to print. The last video we made, it was video 3. From last week's daily workout, you find the link. Showed you how to set all this up. So set up your page breaks to do this. and print nicely. If you have any further issues, let me know. But this, boom, done. You're going to have a fantastic lab. In fact, this group's data, these results are actually really good. Based on this equation here, we're going to do a little analysis in class, but you could do it on your own. Remember what equation this related to, the D equals, etc. The acceleration actually came out really good. All right, we'll talk about error and the rest of that in class. Adios.